fucking hate tax season. I absolutely fucking hate tax season, man. Anybody aspiring to be a YouTube sensation, and I am nowhere near the YouTube sensation, or even being close to being a YouTube sensation. But anybody aspiring to be a YouTube guy or upload content on YouTube and gain some extra revenue because of it, remember that when tax time comes, Uncle Sam looks down upon all us YouTube clowns. Seriously. I was with my parents today, and this is the reason why the podcast is being uploaded on Monday and did not get uploaded on Sunday, even though I wanted to. A, I was visiting my family. I don't really see them all that often, and I wanted to catch up. And B, it was the only day in which my dad's tax guy could come over the house and do our taxes for the year. So I'm sitting there. His name is Ivan. Really, really cool guy, intelligent. Sits down at the kitchen table and looks at me, smiles. He's like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. Just don't fuck me as bad as you did last year. It's never the case. My mom is looking at me. My dad's looking at me. They're both laughing because they know what's to come. And my mom asks, do you want a cup of coffee? I'm not sure if I should make you one, but I'm going to offer you one. I'm like, yeah, Ma, give me the coffee. She's like, it's going to make you jittery and more nervous for the anticipation of him fucking you. I'm like, Ma, give me the fucking coffee, please. And don't give me this fucking coconut cream that Dad's using. I want regular cream and sugar, okay? I don't mind if the coffee is organic, but please, anybody that uses coconut milk in your coffee, you are an absolute fucking clown. You sicken me to no end, okay? Not saying that my dad sickens me, it's just disgusting. So, I'm sitting there. Hours go by, I'm talking to my mom about the family nonsense and how my brothers are doing. My dad gets his taxes done. My brothers get their taxes done. And then he sits down with me. And mine is the most elaborate because I got all these forms from sponsors and Twitch and YouTube and everything, that I'm trying to write off as a home business. About an hour and a half goes by. And he gives me the damage. And it was a long drive home. I will say that. It was a long drive home. Contemplating what I will be spending and not spending in the next month and a half as he fucks me royally. But it really didn't stop me because as soon as I left there, I'm like, how can I make myself feel better? So I bought the Division 2, PlayStation 4. But anyway, man, if you guys are aspiring to be anything on YouTube and earn some extra revenue, just be careful. The bigger you get, the more money you accumulate, the more Uncle Sam is going to anally fuck you at the end of the year. And now I have the option, of paying the tax man quarterly, 4 times a year, so that when tax time comes, I'm not fucked. But it comes down to a point where I want my money now, and I'd rather you take it later. So, he either takes a little by little each and every quarter, or I wait to get one lump sum completely out of my account, which fucking, gives me a mini stroke when he unleashes the number at me. But I'd rather have my money during the year. And I think most of everybody that does what I do will feel the same way. So, we'll see what happens, man. I did not have a good Sunday. He fucked me. And I didn't get the podcast up for you guys on Sunday, so this is why you're seeing it on Monday. So I apologize in advance, but here I am. It's episode 265, part number 3 of Off the Script to close out this weekend. We got a ton of news, man, including WWE being exposed for the 10-year breakdown of Wrestlemania attendance, man. This isn't a major news story. This is typical WWE bullshit. They embellish everything. Now, if they're lying about the attendance numbers for the last 10 years, I ask you, what else are they lying about? Not insinuating anything. I'm just throwing out a nice little fucking, what if to you guys. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about it. We'll break down the numbers and see how much WWE has lied about these attendance figures. Also, Dean Ambrose, is he staying or is he going? We don't know. I'll break that down as well. People are talking about it, but Jim Ross thinks that Dean Ambrose could be a major star or is ready to be a major star. And we all know Jim Ross is about to leave the WWE, and he's going to be elite. We'll see what happens, man. So we got all that plus so much more right here on the podcast. If you guys notice, I am wearing my own merchandise, man. For the first time in a while, I should be wearing my merchandise more often. JD's Elite. I got the charcoal gray. You guys can go get yours today as well, man. Bonfire.com is the exclusive home of Off the Script. Go get yours today, man. We are chugging along. I want to make March a really, really good month. And please, help ease the pain from Uncle Sam, will you? Go get a fucking t-shirt, man. Link is down in the description below at the very top. I want to see everybody wearing this motherfucker at Hooters, man. 155 West 33rd Street. You guys know the deal with the meet and greet. JD from NY Meet and Greet official. 1 to 4 p.m. April 5th, Friday, right before NXT TakeOver in New York. Come and hang out. Wings, beer, attractive women for you guys to look at. Right across from Madison Square Garden. I'll be there, and I'll be wearing my JD's Elite. I expect the same from you guys, man. We got about 50 confirmed right now as definite. Not sure if everybody's going to be there all at the same time, but we got 50 who are going to be there at some point during the afternoon, and another 30 right now who are interested in coming, man. So we're nearing that 100 mark. I would love to have everybody there at the same time. Some House of Glory people are going to be there as well, man. So it's going to be fun. Come on and hang out at Hooters, April 5th, Friday, and wear your JD's Elite exclusively on bonfire.com. Make sure you guys go and check them if you missed them. We got a ton of content on the channel, man. And YouTube was fucking broken yesterday, man. It went about 4 or 5 hours, and the views on Off the Script did not change at all. And I know when YouTube is broken, that is a sign of when it is broken. So the real-time views were really off from what the actual views are. So if you guys missed Off the Script yesterday, I'm sure it did not get pushed into your subscription boxes. And if it did, it didn't get pushed until Sunday. And we uploaded it on Saturday. So if you guys missed that, that is in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. We talked about Finn Balor possibly being advertised for WrestleMania. Part 1, you guys can go and check that out as well. We did Eminem, taking legal action possibly against WWE's news leak of him working with WWE when they moved SmackDown Live to Friday on Fox, and that he is going to be the guy behind the WWE 2K20 soundtrack. So he did not like that. We talked about that as well. Also, WWE voted worst wrestling promotion in 2018, which is a surprise to nobody because they were just genuinely terrible. One of the worst creative years, if not the worst creative year I've ever seen from any wrestling promotion, except especially the WWE. Make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out, including everything else, man. Live there in the annotation in the top right corner. Some video game content up there as well. I just started Devil May Cry 5, and that will continue until I finish the game. Thank you guys so much on all your support, and make sure to hit that thumbs up on every video that you guys check out right here on the channel. Follow me on social media, man. JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. If you guys are following me on both, you will have seen the new Monday Night Raw intro. We got a new intro for Monday Night Raw. We got a new intro for Off the Script every weekend, which you guys seen in this video and on Friday and Saturday. And we're going to be working on Tuesday and Wednesday's intros as well. We're going to have a separate intro for all the reviews, man, thanks to Big Hodge Media. So he is working on everything, and we're going to get everything just situated, looking a little bit more professional, taking the podcast and the Off the Script brand to the next level, man. So I got to thank Big Hodge Media, a.k.a. Jason, my good personal friend. He works for House of Glory, does his own thing, taking his podcast to the next level on YouTube, man. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. Can't wait to get back to work and maybe get that drone working. We get that drone working in New York City for the SmackDown and NXT reviews, man. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to show you guys the intro on Monday Night Raw's podcast on Monday night following Raw this week. You guys know the deal with Mania Crawl, man. ManiaCrawl.com. They are doing their bar crawl during Mania Sunday. So if you guys want to go check that out, all the information you need is at ManiaCrawl.com. And everything that they do is going towards a great cause for Connor's Cure. Make sure you guys go and check that out. They're also selling some merchandise, man. You guys can buy exclusive merchandise that is going to be going directly to Connor's Cure. If you guys want to go visit ManiaCrawl.com, all the information you need is right on the website. So please go and check that out, man. Connor's Cure, a great cause, and WWE takes care of that every single year, and I would like you guys to go and support that as well. We'll get into all the other stuff, man, as we move on here. I don't want to waste too much of your time in the beginning. I want to get right into the news and tackle all this stuff. So let's hit the news right here on part 3 of Off the Script. I want to start with this WrestleMania news, man. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. Now, someone, I don't know if it was on Reddit or if it was just someone who was completely bored out of their mind and just has a vendetta against WWE, but this is quite embarrassing. It exposes WWE's lies about the WrestleMania attendance figures. Now, WWE has historically fudged the numbers in a big way when it comes to WrestleMania attendance. In a day and age where anyone can call the fire marshal and find out how many people were in the building at an event, one would think that they wouldn't do this anymore. Still, WWE loves to just brag about huge attendance numbers to a point where they sometimes claim more people were there than available seats. Now, I know for the Royal Rumble, they were in Chase Field. Chase Field fits about, 50,000, I'm assuming, or close to 50,000. I know because I got people who were there and people who work in the ticket market that WWE sold about 34,000 tickets to Chase Field in Phoenix for the Royal Rumble, but they embellished and they touted an attendance figure of maybe 46,000 to fit into that arena. And ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's no different with WrestleMania. Now, this was brought to my attention on Saturday afternoon. A list of the past 10 years of WWE's history, including actual attendance numbers versus what WWE claimed for WrestleMania, and it exposes the truth on WWE's WrestleMania attendance figures. Now, it will be incredibly interesting to see if WWE tries to claim more than 80,676 people in MetLife Stadium this year. I know that they will. They do it every fucking year. Because when the show takes place in that same building this year, as it did in 2013, they actually brought in 60,900 paying fans, but claimed over 20,000 more. So WWE announced 78,133 fans for last year's WrestleMania in New Orleans and 75,167 4 years prior in the same building. This is especially interesting because there were only 400 more actual paying fans at last year's show. So the chart reads as follows. Now, this is going back all the way to WrestleMania 24. If I could find a picture of this, I'll post it in the podcast for you guys to look at. But this is the actual versus WWE's made-up number. Orlando held WrestleMania 24 in 2008. Now, WWE announced 74,635. What was actually there was 65,700. Next year, at WrestleMania 25 in Houston, 2009, WWE announced 72,744 versus 58,200 actual. WrestleMania 26 in Phoenix in 2010, WWE announced 72,219. The actual was 64,100. WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta in 2011, WWE announced 71,617. The actual was 62,600. This is a large discrepancy. WWE in Miami for WrestleMania 28, 2012, they announced 78,363 versus the actual, which was 62,400. WWE in 2013 at MetLife Stadium, WrestleMania 29, 68,900 versus 80,676. It's going to be interesting to see what fucking fantasy number they come up with this year. WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, actual 59,500 versus 75,167. Where the fuck are they getting these numbers from? Are they putting them in a random generator? Now, Santa Clara for WrestleMania 31, 2015, WrestleMania 31. This was 57,800 actual And the WWE announced number was 76,976. Look at this number for Arlington, Texas, and WrestleMania 32 in 2016. WWE knew that this stadium filled over 100,000. WWE actually had 79,800. There was no way they were selling out that stadium. They announced 101,763. That's fucking pathetic. That is absolutely fucking pathetic. This is not even a surprise to me, man. This is what WWE does, and they do it. And the only reason why I think that they do it is for two reasons. One, because they need this social media buzz. You know, they want they know WrestleMania is going to be spotlighted by every mainstream fucking publication that there is. ESPN and all the big news articles, right? So they want to hype up that number. Nobody's going to really do investigative work that night. You know, they're going to give you a number. They're going to give you a number. They're going to, you know, have that number reported by all these publications. And the other reason why I think they do it is because the stockholders, they don't know any better. So if they look good to the stockholders are happy. That's all they give a shit about. Moving on, man. Orlando, WrestleMania 33 in 2017. 64,900 actual, 75,245 was the WWE fantasy number. And then in New Orleans for WrestleMania 34 in 2018, 59,900 versus 78,133. So, if you look at the discrepancy between the New Orleans shows from 2014 to 2018, WWE had the same amounts paid, 59,900. So, that was the exact number for both years, actual. WWE touted in 2014, 75,167, and in 2018, it went up to 78,133. Man, I love people when they just go out of their way to expose WWE, man. And all I'm going to say is this. Those are the probable reasons why they embellish these numbers. It's fucking WrestleMania. You know, they want to look good to the eyes of the mainstream, and they want to look good to the fucking, you know, people buying their stock, the shareholders. They want to make WrestleMania out to be, you know, the Super Bowl. How are they going to hype up WrestleMania in their eyes as being the biggest show of the year, and they can't even sell out any stadium that they're going, and they're legitimately, you know, half-assing it. And I'm glad that they're not really filling these stadiums to capacity. They're not selling them out because they don't deserve it. The show it doesn't even feel like WrestleMania. They give you a bullshit fucking card every fucking year. The shows have expanded from 6 hours to 7 hours to... I'm hearing rumors of WrestleMania having 17 fucking matches this year. Who could sit there? Who could legitimately sit there? Who wants to sit there? You know? So, I just find it incredibly hilarious that WWE embellishes these numbers so badly to make WrestleMania out to be the biggest show of the year, and they're not selling out these stadiums and these venues. And I am questioning if WWE could sit there and willingly, you know, lie to the general public about these figures, these attendance figures. If they want to sit there and just lie through the skin of their ass. What else are they lying about? If it's that easy for them to fabricate attendance numbers, imagine how easy it is to slip something else under the nose of the general public. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And they do it for a reason. They're a business. They need to look good. But this just exposed WWE for being a bunch of bullshit artists. And I love it. I absolutely love it, man. So if I could find that, I will have pasted that in the video so you guys could see it for yourselves. And again, we all know why they do it. But if they're lying about this, what else could they possibly be lying about? Anyway, moving on, man. Brock Lesnar. He is advertised as a SmackDown Live superstar after the move to Fox Sports. Now, I'm not surprised by this whatsoever, and we'll talk about the two things that I'm thinking of here. So WWE could look very different as we roll into October. New television contracts are about to kick in on both Fox Sports and with NBC Universal. Raw is staying on USA. SmackDown's moving to Fox on Friday nights. Rey Mysterio was at the NASCAR race this weekend. I don't know what event it was, but during the Fox broadcast, WWE's move to Friday on Fox in October was brought up during the broadcast. During that talk-up, Brock Lesnar was mentioned as appearing on SmackDown Live starting in October of 2019. This is a very interesting development for a couple of reasons. Brock Lesnar wasn't even featured in the recent SummerSlam promotion material, leading some in WWE to believe that he might not be 100% sure that he's sticking around, or if people in WWE are not even 100% sure that he will be sticking around that long. After all, the possibility of Brock Lesnar doing UFC again is always talked about in the months after WrestleMania. This also means that Lesnar will likely not be the champion when October rolls around as well, so he can make the jump from Raw to SmackDown Live without the Universal Championship. There is also the possibility that WWE is just feeding Brock Lesnar's name to Fox in an effort to gain interest, as some have suggested. Now, we'll find out in October. That might seem like a long time away, but October and SmackDown Live moving to Friday will be here sooner rather than later. It's going to feel like that before the move actually happens. Now, one of two things happen here with this Brock Lesnar rumor. Number one, first of all, let me get this out of the way. Everybody is so certain that Brock Lesnar is going to lose the Universal Championship to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 35. I am not so sure of that. Every single person who was talking about WrestleMania in New Orleans had Roman Reigns pegged to win the Universal Championship, and WWE flipped the script, and they had Brock Lesnar walk out of New Orleans in one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time and retain the championship for the sake of the greatest Royal Rumble. Correct? So during that show, we had Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar again for the Universal Championship inside a steel cage. And they needed Brock Lesnar, or the Prince, I'm assuming. WWE wanted to make this show the biggest it could be for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, if you are the Prince who is putting together this show, who are you going to be more apt to book as your world champion going into this next Saudi event that takes place after WrestleMania? Are you going to want Seth Rollins, who really isn't well known to the Prince, I'm sure? Or are you going to want the bigger marketable name in everybody knows, Brock Lesnar? So I would not be so quick to judge WWE on this. I am actually leaning towards Seth Rollins not winning the championship at WrestleMania and Brock Lesnar walking into Saudi Arabia as the world champion, because I know for a fact that WWE is paying him to be there. And if he's not the world champion, who the fuck cares? They might not even do the world championship change at WrestleMania. They may save it for Saudi Arabia to make it a big fucking deal in front of those people. So I would not be too certain on Seth Rollins walking out as the Universal Champion. Now, Brad Shepard reported on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast that out of the three major titles, everybody thinks that all the babyfaces are going to walk out of WrestleMania as champions. Becky Lynch, Kofi Kingston, and Seth Rollins. He's like, if you think that's going to happen, you might end up being disappointed by the end of WrestleMania. Only two of the three will be walking out as champions. Becky Lynch, because that's the way the story is going, and Kofi Kingston. If he gets through this gauntlet match against Daniel Bryan one-on-one at WrestleMania, I'm going with Kofi Kingston to win the world title. Now, I don't think he's going to win the world title, but I would actually bet money on Kofi winning his world title than I would on Seth Rollins. That's just me. It's going to come down between Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston. And in that case, just because of Saudi Arabia, I'm going with Brock Lesnar walking into Saudi Arabia as the world champion. And this has to be into consideration as well. Daniel Bryan didn't want anything to do with Saudi Arabia last time they went in November for Crown Jewel. WWE could easily drop the world title to Kofi Kingston, have Kofi go into Crown, whatever it's going to be called, Crown Jewel, fucking Greatest Royal Rumble 2, I don't know. But Kofi is more than likely, probably, if I was a guessing man, going into the next Saudi Arabia show as world champion because Daniel Bryan didn't want to go back in November. You got to look at it that way. Could that be a possibility? Could that actually be in favor of Kofi winning the world title? And if that happens, Brock Lesnar is most certainly retaining his title at WrestleMania. So that right out of the gate, you got to start taking those things into consideration as well. And I want to thank Rusty for bringing that to my attention as well tonight. I know I talked about that with a few other people. He actually thought the same thing as well. And I'm 100% in agreement with that theory. You got to think about it. Who is the Prince going to want more for his show as world champion? Brock Lesnar or Seth Rollins? Daniel Bryan didn't make Saudi Arabia last time. Who knows if he wants to be world champion and wrestle in Saudi Arabia? He may actually want to drop the title to Kofi Kingston, and we'll figure out what we're going to do with the title after the next Saudi show. So it's going to be very interesting to figure out. The other things here with Brock Lesnar, clearly Fox is going to want Brock Lesnar on SmackDown Live. I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to be a SmackDown Live superstar. I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to be drafted to SmackDown Live in this shakeup happening in the middle of April following WrestleMania. I honestly think it's going to be one of those deals where WWE is going to have some sort of soft brand split. It's not going to be one that's complete, but I think WWE, Lesnar could do whatever the fuck he wants. Lesnar could be a free agent. WWE has ways around this. Now, there were rumors that Fox doesn't want anything to do with NBC Universal, and they want SmackDown to have their own separate roster. So, this is all hearsay. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the plan is. That could be all bullshit. I would honestly have rather than just get rid of the fucking brand split at this point, because they're not really paying, any attention to it. They're being very lenient with it. So Lesnar could probably be one of those guys like a John Cena. Advertise himself as a free agent. He could show up on whatever fucking show he wants. Because for a fact WWE's not going to take him completely off of Monday Night Raw. If he ends up staying and working WWE and UFC, if he stays in the WWE's not going to put him specifically on SmackDown Live. Monday Night Raw, no matter how big the Fox deal is, will always be their A show. Same thing with Ronda Rousey. WWE has an easy out with the women. Because with the women's tag team titles, that means the women's divisions are going to be somewhat merged. If they don't make an official announcement, they're going to be as one. I hope that they do. But with the women's tag team titles appearing on all three brands, that's going to open Ronda Rousey up to be one of those, factors that appears on both Raw and SmackDown Live. They have an easy out with that by merging the divisions together. Lesnar, it's an easy out. He could advertise himself as a free agent. He could work for both Raw and SmackDown. And with a guy of his status, it's easy to get away with if they want to have separate rosters as well. So, I don't really know. But we all know for a fact that SmackDown Live and Fox is going to want to have SmackDown Live with the biggest names. Lesnar, Rousey. So those are two easy outs. This is not news to anybody. So Lesnar being advertised as a SmackDown Live guy after WrestleMania, or after SummerSlam in this case, with the move to Fox, I'm not surprised by that. Because they're going to want to load that show up with the biggest fucking names possible. And the fact that he is going to possibly be dropping the Universal Championship within the next month and a half is the best news possible ever. Because the title needs to be on a Monday Night Raw superstar, and it needs to be on the show full time. So if Lesnar's going to be on Fox, more than likely he's going to be advertised as one of those John Cena floating free agents who can do whatever he wants. He wants to show up for SmackDown Live and fight someone over there, show up on Raw, fight someone over there. He could do whatever the hell he wants. And at that point, if he's not champion, why not? Why not? Right now, he is specifically on Raw because he is their champion. But when he drops that title, it's free reign. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. WWE is considering defending main roster titles at NXT TakeOver. Yes, you heard me correctly. WWE consists of many brands at this point. We got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live. Many different brands, just catering to a wide variety of people who enjoy professional wrestling. They got a little bit of everything for everybody. Now, WWE consists of many brands at this point, and they have a lot of titles floating around. None of those championships can travel from brand to brand except the new women's tag team titles, and WWE is considering taking advantage of this idea. Now, there have been reports via Ringside News that WWE is currently kicking around the idea of having Sasha Banks and Bayley defend their women's tag team titles at an NXT TakeOver event. Of course, their challengers would be from the NXT roster. Now, Sasha and Bayley have appeared at NXT events a few times with their titles. They showed up on a recent taping at Full Sail. They were showed at a recent house show as well, which I seen floating around on social media. The message was clear that the women in NXT need to step up their game because a title opportunity could be there. Now, Banks and Bayley love NXT, and the idea of performing at another TakeOver special would obviously bring out the best. It would obviously bring out a version of Sasha and Bayley that has been dormant for many years now since their call up to the main roster. It would be amazing for both of them. It would be amazing for them because they love NXT, and we all know how Sasha loves NXT. Bayley as well. They would obviously seize the advantage there by just really showcasing what they're made of and what WWE main roster is hiding from both women. They would be able to showcase on NXT, especially at a TakeOver. It isn't something set in stone because of their schedule. Their next scheduled title defense is going to be at WrestleMania, and that has yet to be finalized. We have ideas. Obviously, it will include the Samoan Steakhouse, and it will include Beth Phoenix and Natalya and a possible SmackDown team. I'm assuming the Iconics, being that the Iconics have been all over social media kind of tweeting at Bayley and Sasha Banks. But this opportunity could be coming for both Bayley and Sasha Banks for an NXT TakeOver title defense. Even if Sasha and Bayley's run as women's tag team champions don't see them perform at a TakeOver special, the idea that WWE has right now is to feature the titles at an NXT TakeOver in the near future. I don't give a fuck what happens at WrestleMania. Bayley and Sasha Banks need to retain those titles. Those titles, and I'm not the only one who feels that way, these titles were specifically made and catered for them. And if you want these titles, honestly, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I don't give a fuck who you are or what you think of these other fucking teams. Every other team is not even close to what Bayley and Sasha Banks are. I don't care. If you want these titles to be prestigious and you want them to be defended in the right manner, then Sasha and Bayley are that duo to hold these teams. And if you're going to take those two and put them at a TakeOver against NXT talent, NXT TakeOver is the elite in NXT. What you're going to do is you're going to put a Sasha and Bayley against an Io Shirai and a Kairi Sane. You're going to take a Sasha Banks and Bayley and you're going to put them against a Team Kick, Tegan Nox, and Dakota Kai. That's what you're going to do. You're not gonna take the Iconics and put them against fucking the Sky Pirates. You're not gonna take Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka and put them at an NXT TakeOver event. That is not what TakeOver should be advertised as. TakeOver is the elite. TakeOver is the fucking standard for what WWE special events should be. And Sasha Banks and Bayley embody that. I don't give a fuck what you think. These titles do not come off Bayley and Sasha Banks if this is the idea. And I could absolutely see WWE already announced a TakeOver in San Jose in the summer. A standalone TakeOver event. I could see that being the title defense for Bayley and Sasha Banks against a team in NXT. And I think that would be absolutely perfect. So we'll see what happens with that. But I am not against this whatsoever. In fact, this is the way the title should be defended. On Raw, on SmackDown, and in NXT. You cannot exclude NXT. Even NXT UK. Even NXT UK. What about a pairing of a Rhea Ripley or a Ginny or any of the women over there? You know, you don't think Rhea Ripley wants to vie for the NXT or the WWE Women's Tag Team titles from NXT UK? So I love that. I would love to see Bayley and Sasha Banks make the rounds. Not only that, they're going up against the top talent from each brand. And, you know, if they showcase themselves defending that title all over the WWE in every brand possible, that's going to enhance the prestige of those titles as well. So this is a great idea. An absolutely great idea. What I would love for WWE to do is have the NXT title defended on major shows as well. I would love to see the NXT title defended at a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. You know? Or if this is the case and WWE is going to have NXT standalone events, I would love to see the NXT title defended at a major pay-per-view. You know? Or the North American Championship. It don't even have to be the NXT title, the North American title. Have it be defended on a random WWE pay-per-view. Bring awareness to NXT. Enough of the days where WWE doesn't acknowledge NXT as it even exists. You know? So I would love if that happens, but I'm getting ahead of myself with that. The WWE Women's Tag Team titles absolutely should be defended at TakeOver events in the near future. AJ Styles' current WWE contract status revealed. He has not signed the deal yet. He has not signed a deal yet, and we probably will not know if he signs a deal at all until the 11th hour. It may even bleed into the 12th hour. We won't know. All we know is that his contract is up after WrestleMania. So as far as what we are seeing right now, without knowing anything as far as details for his contract, WrestleMania is his last match, according to what we're seeing on television, because we don't know. Now, I like that. I like that because it keeps us guessing about what the winner is between Randy Orton and AJ Styles. So I don't mind that at all. Now, AJ Styles has a ton of talent, former WWE champion. He did not perform at the Fastlane pay-per-view. This is very interesting because apparently Styles has not signed a new deal with the company either. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that AJ Styles has not signed a new deal with WWE just yet. The expectation is that he will, but it hasn't happened yet. His deal is currently set to expire in April. I'm assuming after WrestleMania. Styles is a family man and appreciates the stability that a WWE contract can afford him. He is also looking to work a lighter schedule, more like a Randy Orton-like schedule. While the expectation is that AJ Styles will sign a new deal with the WWE, you never know what could happen. He could end up in All Elite Wrestling, as I know they are vying for his services as well. The Young Bucks and AJ Styles are still very close, as Nick and Matt Jackson actually called AJ Styles for advice last year when they were deciding their own futures. Now, we will have to wait and see. But it was reported that AJ Styles has a big WrestleMania match right now. It's official. They made it official on social media this week, unless WWE changes things and makes some type of stipulation. But he is going up against Randy Orton, and that right now is one of the marquee matches at WrestleMania at MetLife Stadium. So AJ, as far as reports go, has not signed a new deal yet. We don't know what's going to happen. If I was a betting man, I say that AJ Styles stays with the WWE. He signs another deal, whether it's for 3 or 5 years. I don't know. There were rumors that AJ Styles has stated that he doesn't want to be doing this well into his late 40s, that he wants to give what he can give right now and then spend, time with his family. He doesn't want to be doing this for the rest of his life. He wants to give the WWE whatever he's got left, and he wants to retire at a decent age to spend time with his family. So we don't know. WWE's been handing out 5-year contracts. AJ could very well sign a 5-year contract, work the 5 years on a very, very light schedule like Randy Orton. With all the influx of new talent, AJ Styles doesn't need to work an overwhelming schedule as he's done in the past so far with the WWE. If he signs a 5-year deal, he's probably going to get a very luxurious deal, something that's very easy to work, and he's going to be able to spend time with his family, and that is very enticing because WWE is going to back that up with a lot of money. And AJ Styles is certainly worth every penny you're going to pay him. But I don't know. He may have very well signed the new deal. Could be verbally. He could have signed the new deal and it has not been reported yet or leaked yet. But I'm glad that it isn't. Because I think him or the reports of him signing a new contract are kept quiet. I actually like that because it actually plays into the unpredictability of what the winner will be of the AJ Styles-Randy Orton match at WrestleMania. So I am not too concerned about that whatsoever. I want to legitimately go into this match and enjoy it because as far as what we've got so far with this promo back and forth on SmackDown Live, they got me invested after 1 week. And I am very pleased with what happened so far between these two on SmackDown Live. Moving on here, man, we'll get into the next couple of news articles. But before I do that, man, I got to talk about Harry's. Harry's.com/scripts. You guys know the deal with Harry's, man. I've been using Harry's for well over a year. It's my go-to when I need a good, close, comfortable shave. Now, why are you going to choose Harry's? Why? I'll tell you why, man. Harry's is absolutely the best shave that I've ever had. And 10 million other reviews did as well. 10 million people have tried Harry's, and they want you to be one of the 10 million by claiming your trial offer today by using our unique link, harrys.com/script. Now, I love the closeness. I love the fact that I don't cut my face because I have very sensitive skin. And Harry's founders actually were tired of paying for razors that were overpriced and over-designed. Now, there's a bunch of gimmicks that these other leading brands use, like vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like spaceships, tactics that has raised prices for these products for decades. Now, Harry's founders have fixed all that by combining a simple, clean design with quality, durable blades at a great price. Harry's actually also bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 95 years. And they received over 20,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google alone. Harry's replacement cartridges are also just $2 each. That is half the price of a Gillette Fusion Pro Shield. All Harry's blades come with a 100% quality guarantee, and if you don't love your shave, they will give you a full refund, no questions asked. What you guys are going to get is a $13 value trial set. You're going to get a razor handle. Choice of color is yours. The orange, the evergreen, and the navy blue. You're going to get a 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade. Rich lathering shave gel, generous 2-ounce bottle. It soothes, it hydrates, it smells fantastic, and when you put it on your face and apply it, it leaves a nice tingling sensation. And you guys are going to also get a travel blade cover as well. Listeners of my show can redeem your trial set today by using harrys.com/script. That is harrys.com/script to redeem your offer and let them know that JD and Off the Script sent you for the best shave of your life.
Vander.
Well, if it isn't the one above all, Anthony Gangon. Glad to see you here.
Thanks for meeting me. So here's the deal. Ken Broadway has been a thorn in my side this entire time. It seems every time I get some traction, there's Ken Broadway right in front of me. So I propose this. Now I know that the crown jewel title is important to you, but I feel at this point maybe you should start thinking about another championship, maybe the championship that I have. So what I propose here is that if you take care of Ken Broadway and you keep him far away from me, I'll give you a title shot, no problem.
Well, Gangon, there's two things you gotta know about me. One, I'm an honest man, and two, I hate liars. So if I keep Broadway out of your mindset, you better promise me that that House of Glory heavyweight title will be mine.
Yep, that's completely fine. That's fair and honest. And then when we have our match, we'll see who the better man is. But I'm giving you an opportunity to take New York City, the best city in the entire world, and make it your own. All you have to do is keep Ken Broadway away from me. So what do you say?
Well, New York City is already mine. Soon, so will that House of Glory heavyweight belt. And you, Gangon, can trust that.
And you can trust me.
Culture Clash 2019, man. That is just one of the many things going on inside House of Glory. Our champion, Anthony Gangon, enlisting the services of Evander James to keep Ken Broadway away from Gangon and the House of Glory World Championship. But can Evander trust Anthony Gangon? We'll see what happens, man. HOGWrestling.net, Culture Clash 2019, our biggest show ever. Going to be featured on iPay-Per-View April 6th, Saturday, WrestleMania weekend, 2 p.m. bell time, man. Come out and have some goddamn fun. WWE reportedly rewarding Dean Ambrose with a final run before leaving the company. Now, this entire situation is unlike anything that WWE has done in recent memory. They've been very open about his big departure, which is very unlike WWE. They even mentioned his name, real name, Jonathan Good, via Twitter. Now, Ambrose push in the company did not even stall. It actually got to a point where Roman Reigns is back, and they're pushing Ambrose better now than they have in the last 3 or 4 months because of Roman Reigns. Being Roman Reigns is back, Ambrose is getting somewhat of a small push, being that he's still leaving the company. Now, according to PW Torch, this is a way of WWE rewarding Ambrose for being so professional about his exit. WWE also thinks they still have a shot at changing his mind. Now, it was reported that Roman Reigns was asked about Dean Ambrose and that he said that he will take care of it. Leave it to me. We're going to fix all that with Dean Ambrose. Now, the company still believes that they can change his mind, but this whole last tour with the Shield is due to certain assurances they've been given about his next steps. WWE has no issue with people running down their contracts. This is his reward for being professional in their eyes. You never know if WWE can convince Dean Ambrose to stay because they are actively trying to do just that. Michael Cole made a direct reference to Ambrose's contract situation as he plainly explained during WWE Fastlane, so we will have to wait and see if Roman Reigns can change Ambrose's mind as per reports that came out a couple of weeks ago when Roman was finally back on television after announcing he is in remission. Now, the company obviously does not want him to leave. Vince McMahon doesn't want people thinking that his superstars want to leave. Roman Reigns, like I mentioned, said he will take care of Ambrose leaving the company, but he apparently hasn't done much of a chance to speak with him about it yet. Or he hasn't had much of a chance to speak with him about it yet. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted that WWE is making movements in order to convince Ambrose to rethink his impending departure. Now, we don't know how successful they are in talking to him, but this is going to be a wait-and-see game. Ambrose's wife, Renee Young, who currently sits on the Raw commentary team, she's made mention that he is leaving for greener pastures, whatever the fuck that means. But WWE is considering taking her out of that role, and I mentioned this weekend on the podcast that I don't think that's going to happen while Ambrose is still employed, because if they do take Ambrose's wife off commentary, they do take Renee Young off commentary, that may kind of be the nail in the coffin for him to leave. You know, if they're going to do dirty to his wife, then Ambrose is going to say, fuck you to WWE. I'm not even going to listen to what you have to say because you did my wife dirty. So I'm going to go and do what I want to do. Fuck you, goodbye. So if they keep Ambrose happy by keeping, Renee Young on commentary, there might still be a chance with the whole Roman, involvement surrounding it. He may stay or have a better chance in WWE's eyes of staying with the company. So we don't know yet. Now, that might be unrelated. We don't know. It might not even have to do with Renee Young being there or not being there on commentary. He might have made up his mind already. So if they take his wife off commentary or leave her on commentary, it might not even be a factor in him staying or going. But it could certainly be a negative, and WWE does not want that to be a thing for Ambrose. Now, Jim Ross is very clear about what he's doing. He is no longer going to be with the WWE past WrestleMania. He even mentioned, I believe he mentioned it on social media, I'm not going to be out of work all that long. It's not going to be very difficult for me to find work. You know what that means. Jim Ross believes Ambrose is ready to be a major player anywhere. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if Jim Ross is going to be a proponent in Ambrose coming on over to All Elite Wrestling, but he believes Ambrose is ready to be a major player. So he went on and stated, wherever Ambrose may land in his next gig, he will be a major player. He's ready to be a featured guy, not another top guy. This could be a foreshadowing. Just let's dissect those words for a little bit. Wherever Ambrose may land in his next gig, he will be a major player. That's pretty much Jim Ross kind of saying, I don't know if this is true or not, but it certainly comes across to me that way, that he might know where Ambrose's next destination is. And if it is what we expect it to be, that he will be a major player. And with Ambrose's contract running out, he's not going to have any 90-day non-compete clause. He certainly could be a Double or Nothing in May in Las Vegas, his hometown. He's ready to be a featured guy, not just another top guy. And I don't know what Ambrose is thinking, to be honest with you. But if I'm Ambrose, I mentioned this a few times in passing. If I'm Ambrose, I am exploring my options. If he stays with the WWE, nothing will change. He's not going to be a top guy on SmackDown. He's not going to be a top guy on Raw. Or maybe Ambrose doesn't give a fuck about being a top guy. Maybe he doesn't want to be a top guy. He wants to be another guy that's making X amount of money and having a comfortable life for himself. But really, is that how he truly feels? I really don't know how anybody could go into a job not wanting to be the fucking man in that company or the man on that brand. Why do you need to play second fiddle to a Seth Rollins or a Roman Reigns? Because if Dean Ambrose stays, that's what he's going to be. He's going to be a third wheel. He's not going to be as big as Rollins. He's not going to be as big as Roman Reigns. Ambrose is just going to be there. He's just going to be a guy who fills out the Shield. Does he want to be that? Does he want to be a supporting player? Or does he want to be the guy in a promotion? A guy that the company looks forward to having at the top. A guy that a company could fucking rest all their laurels on. A world champion. I don't know, man. If Ambrose is shortchanging himself, that's not the way I handle business. You don't go into your job just saying, I am another cog in the wheel. I am a guy that they're paying, and I don't really have any aspiration of being a top guy. I just want a paycheck, and blah, blah, blah. If Ambrose takes a paycheck from WWE, he has to know that nothing is going to change. And he's going to be doing the very thing that he actually scolded. He would actually be taking a WWE contract for the money, because you know for a fucking fact they don't have any creative plans, nor will they have creative plans for him. And he made mention of this already on Zack Ryder's Toy Podcast. He mentioned that some people in this company just take a paycheck just for the sake of it, just because they want the big payday. That's not me. That's not me. Ambrose, I know, is a guy who wants creativity and wants to be a guy that could take a brand or a company to that next level. He feels constrained. He feels like he's under lock and key. He can't be what he wants to be under WWE. He has to know that. And Jim Ross might be foreshadowing that. Why would he say wherever Ambrose may land, he will be a major player? There's no other place for Ambrose to land. It's either WWE or AEW. He's not going to go back to Ring of Honor. He's not going to go to Impact Wrestling. He's not going to go to Japan. He's going to stay here in the States. It's either WWE or AEW. And you know AEW is going to offer him a large amount of money to be a major player on Tuesday nights. I don't know, man. Jim Ross went on to also say he's had great work since he said he was leaving. His work has been exemplary. He hasn't called anything in. He's had great matches with great effort. Wherever he's going, someone's getting a major player. I don't know, man. I truly believe the only thing that's really hindering me from saying that he's gone completely, there's a part of me that thinks this is a work. Because if you recall on Monday Night Raw, where Reigns was back and that first night he announced he was in remission, I believe Reigns and Rollins saved Ambrose from a beatdown, and they didn't even go to check on him in the ring. He was there by himself. Now, they got the Shield back together, but it was the final ride for the Shield at Fastlane, right? And then they announced that this was it, and they gave way to Rollins and Heyman on Monday Night Raw. But on that very same show, it was Ambrose who was ultimately taken off television by a brutal beatdown from Drew McIntyre. Now, Rollins came out to help Roman because McIntyre beat up Roman, and then Ambrose wanted a match with McIntyre to back up Roman. But Rollins came out to help Roman, but he didn't come out to help Dean after the beatdown. I find that to be very odd. And there might be something happening there where Ambrose and Reigns might have a final match or a send-off, or there might be a situation there between Ambrose and the Shield. You know, I don't know. It just seems very bizarre that Rollins was there for Roman, but, you know, when Ambrose was being beat up by Drew McIntyre, the same guy who beat up Roman, he was nowhere to be found. And they did the same thing a couple of weeks ago where Roman announced he was in remission. That same night, they didn't go to check on Ambrose. They just left him lay. They saved him, but they didn't go to check on him and see how he's feeling. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It could be something. It could be nothing. Or it could be that Ambrose is really getting a final send-off, and what better way to have a final send-off than Roman Reigns? Who is Ambrose going to have a final send-off with? if not one of his best friends. You know? They did it with Shawn Michaels and Diesel. At In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies. Diesel's best match. His best WWE match. As long as he was employed in that company, that was his best match. The fucking night where he took Mad Dog Vachon's prosthetic leg off and started using it as a weapon. I remember Shawn Michaels' very exact, body language in that match. Like, he was upset that his best friend was leaving. He took the prosthetic leg. He super kicked Diesel's head off with the prosthetic leg. The leg went flying. He took the leg and said, get the fuck out. Get out of here. You want to go to WCW and leave me? Go. Exactly what he did at the end of the match. I could see a very similar situation here with Reigns and Ambrose. If not at WrestleMania, at the following pay-per-view, whatever it is. Whatever the May pay-per-view is. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Jim Ross thinks that Dean Ambrose is going to be a major player in WWE, and I have an inkling of a feeling that, them not coming out to save Dean is possibly leading to something. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, everybody thought that Evolution was going to lead to Evolution 2 and was going to be a regular thing. That Evolution, the debut of WWE Evolution, the pay-per-view in October, was going to lead to more Evolutions or more all-women's pay-per-views. That's not the case. Stephanie McMahon dodges a question about a second WWE Evolution. Now, it's interesting how a second Evolution event is not on the WWE schedule right now. Things could change because the original Evolution event was initially supposed to be a house show. Now, Stephanie McMahon spoke to the National about a possible second Evolution event, and she seemed to dodge the question and simply said that they have a lot of things in the works right now. We haven't announced any plans for Evolution yet, but we got a lot of things in the works right now. One thing that is important to note with Evolution, that it was our first ever all-women's pay-per-view, and it trended worldwide for 2.5 hours during the last game of the World Series and during NFL Sunday Night Football. Both huge audiences in the United States, but it was WWE Evolution that was trending number one. End quote. A lot of people believe that WWE Evolution was simply an answer to the fans who were upset about the women not being allowed to perform in Saudi Arabia. Therefore, an all-female pay-per-view was arranged. With the rumors of women possibly getting to wrestle in Saudi Arabia this time around, the company might not need another Evolution event this year. Well, that would be another way for WWE to pretty much expose themselves. If the women are allowed to wrestle in Saudi Arabia and we don't get another Evolution pay-per-view, what the fuck does that tell everybody watching the WWE product? That Evolution was just a mere fucking event that was put on to save face for the women. That's all it was. Now, I don't think the women are going to be able to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. I don't think it's going to happen this year or next year. It's going to be one of those things that's going to be a work in progress. I don't think they're going to just allow these women to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. But as far as Evolution, I don't really give a shit if there is an Evolution or if there is not an Evolution. They didn't make history, to me, or in my eyes, for Evolution. It was a pay-per-view that was, very half-assed. It was put together with basically Scotch tape. They didn't really highlight Evolution. They highlighted Saudi Arabia more than they did Evolution. Nothing about Evolution was built up except for Becky and Charlotte Flair in that last women's standing match. And then we all knew, whoever was watching the Mae Young Classic, that the Mae Young Classic finals were going to be taking place at Evolution. And then you had Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey in the main event. That's not really something that's going to be eye-grabbing for the audience. So if Evolution happens or not, I don't really give a shit. Because WWE didn't do it justice the first time, and knowing that they have these Saudi Arabia events planned at the very same time as they did in 2018, in the very same slots on the 2019 schedule, it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more of the same. How many shows can you possibly build towards at the same time? How many? The Mae Young Classic is enough. There were rumors that WWE wants to have a women's King of the Ring, the Queen of the Ring. Now that could be something where they don't do an Evolution event and they give us the King of the Ring moniker, but only this time for the women, Queen of the Ring, and that could be the WWE pay-per-view. Maybe she didn't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. And we're not getting an Evolution pay-per-view, but instead that. I don't know. If it happens or not, I don't care. Because I didn't really enjoy the first one outside the Becky-Charlotte match. So I don't really care if it happens or not. The less that's on the pay-per-view calendar, the better. Because right now there is just an oversaturation of these shows that WWE doesn't know. At one point last year, they were building towards 3 shows within the same fucking month. You had what would you have? Evolution, you had Crown Jewel, and then you had Survivor Series. And they got lucky with Survivor Series because it built itself. It was Raw versus SmackDown. They got away. They got off easy. But 3 pay-per-views in the span of a month? It's good for me. It's good for my bank account. It's good for you guys. The more content, the better, right? But as far as WWE programming goes, man, you want to burn out an audience? That's the way you do it. So if Evolution happens, I don't really give a shit if it does or it doesn't. And Stephanie might be, saying what's legit. They might have other plans in the works, and Evolution might not be, but something else might be taking the place. We don't know. So it's going to be a wait-and-see game for sure. WWE hoping female superstars, leading into this story, WWE's hoping that the female superstars will wrestle in 2019 in Saudi Arabia. Now, Raja is reporting that the company has hopes to have women compete in Saudi Arabia this year. At this point, there is no all-women's pay-per-view set for 2019. That clearly could change. And there could be a reason for that. And this is that reason. It's being reported that WWE is holding off announcing an all-female pay-per-view event because the company is holding out hope. And they use that in quotes, holding out hope, that the November Saudi Arabia show will feature female-only matches. I don't know about that. They just have to convince the government of Saudi Arabia to allow this to take place. Not only that, but WWE is leaving the possibility open of adding women's only pay-per-views regardless of the situation in Saudi Arabia. 2018 didn't start with Evolution on the calendar either. So like I said, this could be a thing that just materializes later in the year. That historic event, and I use that term loosely, historic event was added around the time the Saudi show happened, I believe, or was first announced, Crown Jewel. So then they announced thereafter, soon after that, that Evolution was taking place. So as soon as Crown Jewel was announced, then the Evolution show was announced. It was about a 2-month time frame. And WWE didn't even start building towards Evolution until about 3 or 4 weeks out, until the pay-per-view was actually about to come on out. So I don't really give a shit if it's added or if it's not. I don't care. But WWE, man, they're wishing upon a fucking star with this one. I do not see Saudi Arabia allowing the women to wrestle in 2019. They got 8 years left under this contracted deal. If they're lucky to get one in the 8 years, they'd be lucky. I don't know. I don't really know. WWE is going to have to do a lot of convincing if they want the women to be in that situation to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. And if they do get it and we don't get an Evolution, again, like I mentioned, then you will know and look back on as to why Evolution happened in the first place. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen. You're not going to change these people's feelings or mindset overnight. If it was something here in the United States, maybe. But changing those people's minds is going to take a very long time. You're not going to just go into someone else's country and say, this is what we want, this is what I think is best, and have them say, okay, here you go. They're already compensating WWE with $500 million. They're going to be a little bit more tight-lipped and a little bit more, serious when it comes to that situation. They haven't done the normal everyday thing for the women in their own country yet. They're going to allow women to fucking dress the way that they dress in the WWE and get in a ring and compete in front of their people? I don't think so. I don't really think that's going to happen this year. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. And I can't wait for it to happen because, when it happens, WWE is going to just fucking tout about it all over the place, and it's going to be fucking jammed down our throats with a plunger, and it's going to be fucking sickening. It's going to be absolutely sickening. So, look forward to that when that day comes. Moving on here, man. WWE fired Arn Anderson. We all know about them firing Arn Anderson, right? He broke his silence. But before we get into what he stated after his WWE release, there were a couple of superstars in the WWE and they expressed how they felt about Alicia Fox showing up intoxicated to a WWE live event. Now, Arn Anderson let Alicia Fox wrestle while intoxicated. This was a big no-no for obvious reasons. The fact that she could have hurt herself or hurt someone else in the ring. I mean, it's common fucking logic. Now, Vince McMahon went off on Anderson and he was fired. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Triple H had to mediate the two on a few occasions before, but McMahon let Anderson go over this infraction. Now, some WWE superstars didn't realize that Alicia Fox was inebriated during the live show. They have come to expect her antics at this point, so it wasn't anything out of the usual. One version reported that Anderson didn't know about Fox's intoxication either until it was too late. So, the defense of Anderson from talent is that they believe and even insist he didn't know anything regarding Fox was that bad before the match, nor did the talent at the time. The women are used to Fox behaving erratically, which she did then, but has done more as of late. End quote. The fact is that Arn Anderson was producing Alicia Fox's last match in WWE on February 10th in Saginaw, Michigan. So this incident happened at that show or something in that loop of events. The round of shows is also when Alicia Fox had an outrageous wardrobe malfunction as well. She might have been drunk during that as well. Who the fuck knows? There have been no reports of Alicia Fox's firing, but she could very well be on thin ice again. As reported, she was on thin ice several times before in the past. This is a series of unfortunate circumstances, and Alicia Fox rejected WWE's offer for rehab and has since gone AWOL. Now, Arn Anderson breaks his silence after his WWE release. He spoke to Sports Illustrated, and Anderson did not throw anyone under the bus. Instead, he was quite professional in simply relaying how fortunate he was for having the gig for so long in WWE. He says, and I quote, "I was fortunate enough to work with WWE for 18 years. Certainly that provided my family and myself with a nice living, and I have no regrets. A lot of my best friends still work there. Everything has a shelf life, and I guess mine ran out." So the next time you'll see Arn Anderson is at StarCast for Double or Nothing that weekend. Cody Rhodes had nothing but amazing things to say about Arn Anderson, and we have to wait and see if he still wants to be in the business as a producer of sorts. Maybe he ends up in AEW. I'm sure Cody Rhodes is going to offer him some type of deal, and we may see Arn Anderson join Billy Gunn over in All Elite Wrestling. So Arn Anderson, though, at the end of the day, isn't holding any public resentment towards this situation. So I have to side with Vince McMahon on this one, man. You know, whether Arn didn't know it or he did know it, it happened. And apparently, there were also reports that Arn Anderson and Vince McMahon didn't get along. So whether he knew or didn't know, Vince seen this as one of those infractions, and that was enough to let him go. And this is not the first time an agent or a producer was let go over something stupid. Fit Finlay was fired several years ago for something that happened, an incident that happened at a house show with the national anthem. Had a heel come out and interrupt the national anthem with servicemen sitting in the crowd. They felt disrespected, so Vince McMahon did the hasty thing and fired Fit Finlay over it. And Fit Finlay ended up being brought back. He was brought back to the company. So I don't know if that could happen to Arn Anderson, but, you know, it's not like Arn Anderson has nowhere to go. And WWE made mention of this. They hired so many fucking producers, from Jeff Jarrett to Shane Helms, Abyss, Sanjay Dutt, Sean Daivari. You know, just based off that, mixed with Vince McMahon not really, you know, feeling Arn Anderson too much, and Arn Anderson possibly being on his shit list, Vince probably thought that he was expendable. Whatever the case happened, it happened on his watch, and he had to reprimand somebody. Arn Anderson was let go. It is what it is. Just like Jim Ross, Arn Anderson is not going to be out of work for too long if he wants a position with AEW. So, he was very professional about it. 18 years he was there, and that's the way to handle it, man. No hard feelings from Arn Anderson, and he broke his silence to Sports Illustrated. Couple more stories here, man. Some SmackDown stories to end this weekend's podcast. We have Fandango coming back. There was a very nice video package of Fandango at the PC. WWE's Performance Center has its own YouTube channel. I highly recommend you guys go and watch the videos that they put up there, man. Very, very well done. And Fandango was actually a part of their most recent videos. And it documented him coming back and him going through training again, what he's been doing to rehabilitate. And one thing stood out when he was talking in this particular video package. He said he wants to come back and he wants to be more of a serious character. Like, he did what he was asked to do, and he enjoyed, being Fandango, and he enjoyed the Fashion Files, but he wants to come back and have a more serious role on WWE television. Now, the only question is WWE going to embrace Fandango as a serious character on WWE television? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to get lost in the shuffle, and he's going to be, on the lower bottom of the ladder, and I don't think they're going to end up doing anything with him. And it's a shame, because he's a pretty damn good fucking wrestler. I think that is talent being misused. And I could see him being a very decent mid-card guy. But I've seen a lot of talent in WWE have that decent mid-card act role. I could see Fandango being a U.S. title or an Intercontinental title type guy. I seen the same thing in Ty Dillinger. What happened? They didn't use him at all either. But there was a big clue that WWE has canceled the Fashion Files. So this could be a good thing for Mr. Johnny Curtis, Fandango, or it could end up being a nail in the coffin. Fandango was taken out of action with an injury, and although he might be gearing up for a return soon, that doesn't mean his tag team will be reforming. Now, he expressed interest in displaying a more serious character during a WWE Performance Center documentary about his return to the ring. Now, Tyler Breeze is giving fans a strong clue that his detective days with Breezango could be over. Why did the Fashion Files end? Says Tyler Breeze. Now, he said this on social media. So far, he received plenty of responses from WWE takes away anything we love, or you're better than the Fashion Files, which he is. I think Tyler Breeze is fucking great. I was one of the biggest Tyler Breeze guys that there is. I think he's one of the best wrestlers that they have right now, not doing jack shit with. I remember when he was in Full Sail late last year. He showed up to wrestle Ricochet in a U.S. or not a U.S. He was a North American Championship title open when Ricochet had the North American title, and he looked like a fucking superstar. He came out to Full Sail. They greeted him as if he never left. He looked better in that 15 minutes, 20 minutes on NXT television that he has in his entire main roster run. But the general consensus is that WWE took it away because it was too good. Now, it was good for the first couple of weeks, and then it got unfunny. And I didn't really like it anymore. WWE featured it on SmackDown Live. It was entertaining, and then they took it away from SmackDown Live. I guess because it was getting over. You know how WWE doesn't like anything getting over that isn't supposed to get over. They give these guys a comedy fucking skit that's just completely lame. It ends up getting over. WWE featured it on SmackDown Live, and then it was moved to YouTube specifically. It was moved to WWE.com specifically. Why? If something is popular and getting over, why isn't it shown on TV? And then Breezango was never shown on TV. Period. They ended up not wrestling. So that was the general consensus. The Fashion Police haven't been on any cases during WWE's main roster shows since their move to Raw. To make it even more interesting, Breezango's t-shirts are currently found on WWE Shop's clearance section next to the Bludgeon Brothers. You never know if they could make a return, but this was certainly a big hint from Tyler Breeze that we've seen the last of the Fashion Files. I don't know. This may end up being the worst thing for Tyler Breeze, because in the midst of him waiting for Fandango to come back, he was hoping that Breezango was going to be a thing when he returned. Now it's not. So Tyler Breeze might not end up having anything, and we don't know what's going to happen to Breezango or Fandango for that matter. They could still be a tag team under a new moniker. Tyler Breeze can remain in the position that he's in now, not on TV. Fandango can come back with a 1 to 2 week push and then get exiled from fucking TV. He could end up being Mojo Rawley for all we know. We don't know. I hope that isn't the case. But the fact that WWE's canceled the Fashion Files, I don't know what that means for Tyler Breeze. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best here, man. Two talented guys that WWE certainly can utilize. And this is a great opportunity to hit the reset button on Fandango. It really is. So hopefully they do something with him, Tyler Breeze, or both. And I'm hoping that something happens with both of them after the shakeup on April 15 and 16 on Raw and SmackDown. Finally, guys, we're going to get out of here with this one. And I don't really like this, and I'm not a big fan of this. WWE could have a big babyface plan for Andrade Cien Almas. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE most likely has babyface intentions for Andrade. If he were given that role, Andrade could find a lot of success. And Meltzer says this, and I quote, "When he turns babyface, he'll get his chance, I think." I mean, he's not, and I don't necessarily think that's his strength. He's okay as a heel. I think that the long run is they want him to be a babyface. End quote. WWE needs powerful babyfaces that can connect with the audience. If given the chance, Andrade could become a big WWE superstar, not only in the Latin American market, but also for anyone who appreciates a little bit of what he offers. We'll have to wait and see how Zelina Vega fits into this possible babyface move if WWE does go in that direction. I don't like this at all. There were rumors about this a couple of months ago where WWE had a plan for WrestleMania with Andrade and Rey Mysterio as a tag team, that their feud on SmackDown Live was going to translate to them earning respect from one another, and that's going to be into a tag team. Well, that's going to transform into a tag team. I didn't like that idea at all. And they were going to build a tag team division around them because WWE got this, this feel with the Revival asking for their release that they were going to build a tag team division around a team with Andrade and Rey Mysterio. I didn't like that at all. I think they're both better separate. I think Andrade's better as a heel. If he's going to be a babyface, he needs to talk for himself. And I don't see that being a thing at all. I don't see Zelina Vega as a babyface. Zelina comes off as a bitch-like heel, and she plays that role perfectly. And her mentality and the way she makes herself stand out is perfect for Andrade. Why would you fuck that up? Why would you fuck that up? You called up all these different guys from NXT. You could fill a babyface role with somebody else. Why do you need to take someone who is perfect as a heel and make him into a babyface? You know it's not going to work. If you know it's not going to work, why would you even explore it? And this is a 2-for-1 deal. With Andrade, you get Zelina. If Andrade is a babyface, that's also going to go for the same for Zelina. She's not going to work as a babyface. They're both heels. So I don't know why WWE has to take a good thing now and change it for something that isn't going to work. He hasn't even hit his stride as a fucking heel yet. Get the guy on a fucking on a nice swing of momentum and a title reign as a fucking heel. See how he does then. And if you want to explore it a year from now, then do it. But don't do it now when he's in the midst of a fucking heel run feuding with Rey Mysterio. I don't understand this company. Leave it to WWE to take something and fuck it up. As always, I do not see Andrade as a babyface. The guy is a fucking heel. Babyfaces need to fucking speak. He needs to speak for himself if he's a babyface. He can't do that. His English is terrible. He's got a great package in Zelina Vega. She does the speaking for him. Simple. He could be that Latin American guy as a heel. He doesn't need to be a babyface. Didn't they try to turn Alberto Del Rio into a babyface? How well did that go? It was awful. Andrade is a heel through and through. Do not change what is a good thing. Please. What is a good thing is that this podcast this weekend is over. Done. Thank you guys so very much, man. Hope you enjoyed the podcast on this Monday afternoon. I'll see you for Raw. Hopefully it's a good show, but probably not. I don't expect anything less than a terrible show on Monday nights, but I hope you guys enjoyed everything, man. Please hit that thumbs up. You guys don't know how important that thumbs up button is. Please hit it. Make sure you guys support the video. If you guys want to go check out anything else that I uploaded on the channel, everything you need is in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of the screen with that little exclamation point. Click it, drop it down. Everything you need will be right there, including this weekend's Off the Script. If you guys missed part 1, it is right here, man. WWE voted worst wrestling promotion of 2018. Eminem to take legal action. Part 2 talked about Finn Balor returning as the Demon at WrestleMania. And WWE still uncertain about WrestleMania 35 and 50% of the card. Make sure to follow me on social media, man. JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. JD from New York on Twitch. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all Notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon. Bonfire.com. Make sure you guys get your exclusive JD's Elite on bonfire.com. Harrys.com/script. And Hooters. You guys know the deal with Hooters, man. 155 West 33rd Street, New York City, across from Madison Square Garden. JD from NY, meet and greet from 1 to 4 p.m., April 5th, Friday. That is right before NXT TakeOver New York, man. Thank you guys so very much. Again, hit that thumbs up, and I will see you all on Monday Night Raw for the podcast. And I hope you guys enjoyed this weekend. As always, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys for what is probably going to be another terrible Monday night. I'll talk to you guys then.